And we are live.
Amukela eka Shangan. Amukela so. Jafet amukela kwini?
No, tell one if I suspendido.
Okay, guys.
Never gonna have me to
Are we okay?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Thank
we
you.
Are live.
Thanks. Welcome to Shangan Gang podcast, guys. This is a very special podcast which is dedicated to the recent learners from our Matric 2023. So we've dedicated this one just to give them just a roadmap, sort of like a swim lane on what to do from here on. Like at Samakona, we're sitting with Mr. Prayer Koto. I'm just gonna go through his academic records. He's currently doing his PhD in economics. It's in progress, and then he's done masters in economics, honors degree in investment management, bachelor's degree in finance and economics. Professional careers include associate director, an investment banker, and academic research and published author. So welcome, sir. This episode is brought to you by Shangan Gang podcast. We also have MR Foundation, and it is supported by Ibatu Media and
Ford Foundation.
So guys, thank you very much for you guys who are joining us from YouTube, you guys who are joining us from TikTok, you guys who are joining us from Facebook. So if you have your guys who have just got their matric results, let them sit in, gel with us, and those who made it, those who didn't make it, we will be showing you what, we will be telling you, talking about what you can do, stuff that you can do, in case you didn't make it as expected, in case you didn't get the expected result or anticipated results. Nalaba bangatsandeka kuma the results letiya abatlabing the distinct.
What not to do.
And what not to do, yeah. So
what not to
hey,
do.
there's a lot.
Do's and don'ts.
Yeah, the do's and don'ts. We're gonna be on that.
Baka hina se asungula sipuku leswi mi nga swi tekeli nhlokweni tatani records amukela hi lowu mbuyelo wa vana mirini.
Hey, thank you very much. Nkhensa ngopfu nkarhi loyi nga va na wona sweswiwani, and thank you Mr. Mashao for such a generous introduction. And it's still good. I there's evidence to it, but I think it's relevant for this conversation. So yeah, so it's just to thank you for this opportunity to deal with the biggest elephant in the room. Maybe just to start by putting the context to all of this. Since the dawn of democracy in South Africa, this is the first time the basic education system has produced such excellent results.
Yes.
And this deserves a round of applause.
Where is the horn here for the round of applause?
Where is the producer?
Number one.
Yeah, so we definitely this deserves a round of applause because it's a monumental achievement.
Yes.
In our nation. We're currently facing a lot of negativity out there in this country. So now we have something to celebrate as a nation.
Forget about load shedding.
Yes, because load shedding is not going anywhere. But if we don't do anything to advance the future of these young kids that they've just passed matric, load shedding is going to be a permanent feature for the next 50 years. But if we invest enough in building the careers of these young people, they could just come up with a solution that will solve that problem for us for good. So with those words, is just need to it's just to congratulate the learners who have worked so hard, the teachers who have spent their weekends teaching, and the parents and all the relatives that have supported all the students that were in Matric. And we say to all of you, congratulations. And most importantly, we're having this session to tell you that there is life beyond your Matric certificate.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is why we have decided to have this session today. Obviously coming here sent by MR Foundation, working together with Shangan Gang. We have brought together this special episode, enabled by our partners who have supported us in this, that being Ford Foundation and Ibatu Media. So in this particular episode today, we want to unpack what does life after Matric certificate really mean, look like for a student who has passed so well, and a student who has not done so well, and the one who has failed. Because all these three groups of students, there is still life beyond that Matric.
Obviously, yes.
But because right now the society places so much pressure on a Matric certificate as the only ticket to life, and if you are not able to get straight A's, you don't have a space in society, you don't have a role to play. We need to address that big elephant in the room, because that is what is causing part of the suicide rates that we see. That is what is making the students who legitimately got a second chance, they are afraid to go back and use that second chance, because the society makes them look like they are dumb or not good enough. So in this episode, we need to unpack, deal with those myths, and help everyone locate themselves, whether they have done well, they have not done so well, or they don't see themselves anywhere in that path of education. There is life for them. Right. So with that, for the guys that have written the Matric exams, we had almost 1 million students that started this journey.
Is it
10,
for
12,
the year 2023?
So if you take from when they started in grade 1. So say if you take the students that started grade 1 in 2011, 2012, about 1.1 million. Out of that, the stats from the basic education shows us that about 425 to 460,000 students, they dropped out. So meaning that they did not sit for the Matric exams. So why am I saying this? Last year, when the Matrics, the students that were registered to write Matric were 715,719. Those that managed to write, it's 691,160. Out of those, 572,983 are the students that have passed, which has given us the national pass rate of 82.9%, a historical number we haven't seen since democracy.
So we've never had.
No, we've
never reached that.
We have never reached that as a nation.
Okay.
So with this, I want to say that the students, about 150 something students that did not pass, which is that 18%. I want to also salute them for the courage that they've had.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. They have survived 13 grueling years in the system at minimum. So to make it there and sit for that exams, they've done better than those who could not even sit for the exams. Actually, so for that we need to give them we need to give them credit for that. We need to give them credit for that, because it takes a lot of courage. And courage is what we need in the young people to take this future, the country forward. Right. So we just need to put that into context. And number two, all those who have made it and write that exam, they've made their name counted amongst the cream of the crop in this country. And we celebrate them. So no matter whether you got accepted at a university of technology, or you got rejected, there's a space for you out there. There's a role you can play in a society. You can still add value to society. And this is the purpose of us having this special session, so that we can really put all of this into context, and those who have failed will help you to map out a pathway to get to a good career path going forward. So I think this is what we'll be covering in this particular session, and I'm glad that we'll be able to take in questions from those who are joining us online as we go along with the conversation. So as an opening line, which was quite long but necessary, I think we'll then just maybe and then just delve into the bigger part of what we need to do. So over to you.
Okay, just before you go into that, Daniel Baburin has just indicated if you have any questions on TikTok, you've got a question from our YouTube channel, just type it there. We've got also Facebook. For those who have access to Facebook and not access to the other channels, please go in there, type in questions. We've got our team at the back; they will be assisting us with the questions. So we can start with the first one. What now? What's happening from now on? From here on, I've passed my my matric, and I didn't apply because I found myself. I'm not sure that I'm gonna pass. And what now? What do I do now? There's a mentality that says that tells people at the back of their head to say, you know what, you might not even make it there, and then
there's not even money. Yeah.
And it's not only about family umakayona, village, Jim Jones.
So it's stuff that we want to eliminate.
You don't even know what to do with your life.
Yes, they don't even know. I know people personally who were better than people that I know now who are good now, or who have made it. And then you see, you compare yourself, and then the only thing you can go is just to ask that person, why didn't you make it? And to find that this is what they have missed. This is
so you have access.
Access.
At the university, you have access at TVET colleges.
Yes.
And and a huge investment.
Yes.
At the Makata university, not the TVET colleges. Let's take a look at Hansi.
Yes.
So what now?
Okay. What now? That question can be answered in many ways. The first way, you go, now that you have your matric certificate, what does that mean?
Yes.
That's the first part.
Yes.
Right? And I'll answer that question. And now that you understand what it means, what do you do? We'll cover that very briefly. Number one, your matric certificate, it's a signal of where real life begins for you. It's where the journey to independence begins. And simply because this gives you a license to go out there and explore training opportunities that are better suited for your type of skills and the kind of role you can play in society. So the level, so the independence and that adult decision-making journey begins now. Because when you go into a higher institution, it can be a university, a TVET college, or a university of technology, what used to be called a technicon back in our days. This is a space that requires you to manage your own time, to run your own budget, plan your own life. You don't have your parents babysitting you. You don't have teachers that are telling you what to do, that are telling you to write homework. When you come to school without writing homework, they give you a hiding. At a university, that doesn't happen. And there are lecturers, there are no teachers. Those people, they tell you this is the task, they tell you these are the timelines. It's up to you whether you submit the work or you don't. At the end of the semester, at the end of the year, you're going to face consequences. So what does that mean? It means that you need to start taking responsibility for your own life at an individual level. You need to know that you need to know how to allocate your time to different activities within a day without anyone forcing you or following you around. That's the biggest part, and that is where that's where a lot of us really miss it. Because if we have not mastered the art of understanding where we are going with our lives, we make a lot of wrong decisions that we regret later on. So that's a lot.
So kwa aba mani lava nga ta ku pfusha loko letini ku hey pfuka u hlamba akuna kokwana nga ta ku pfusha ku pfuka u hlamba loko u nga pfuki class ya ku hundza.
And no one, if you have blown your pocket money in day one,
tadama mascopas.
the whole month. So all those kind of things. so that's a reality of life that you're going to start facing from there. So, and now if you haven't gotten those things right, budgeting your stuff and everything, you can already imagine, can see how those bad behaviors or bad habits can filter in the progress you could potentially make in your academic life.
Based on what you've just said, sorry to disturb you.
Yes.
So we've got people with no experience at all, no experience of
how they
no blow out that budget or that
stipend
in day one. What am I gonna do? I think it's vested on us with experience, now that we're doing. In our experience, we need to hand that experience over to these guys so that they have information. Because the main thing here, i.e., it's not about anything else. It's information. Giving people information. I think it's a prerequisite of getting someone successful out there. You are just putting them at the successful door, and then they will decide on their own that I open it, I walk through, or what do I do?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you say that, that's basically what, when you're doing the introduction, you made mention of MR Foundation.
Yes.
So that's really what our foundation is about. It's just about sending the lift down as we rise. We believe that in life, we need to be progressing forward. We need to be moving. You cannot stand in one space, in one place, in one position for too long. But wherever you move to in life, as long as it is, you get to a point that is where you are better than how you were yesterday, we believe that each and every single one has a role to send the lift down to the people who are behind us. And not keep the lift. So part of what you say is that, and this is why we're sitting here, we want to send the lift down. And this lift, we are giving someone, for us, it's 10, 15, 20 years experience that we learned the hard way. Right? After we got bent. So, but we're saying that for those, there are some who don't have to learn by mistakes, by making the same mistakes. They can learn from just hearing what we tell them today.
Actually,
and that's what we're
about Form 1.
Yeah,
we are standard.
Just you look at the grades. You look at the grades. all those kind of things. Yeah. So I think where we are now, the issue is that. So we've talked about what the Matric Certificate means. It's your license to go and hunt, to go and figure out what you want to do with your life, right? And the Umalus has given you a certain code name. That limits you how far you can go. And I think we need to break that down because there's a classification of the passes, which is a bachelor's pass, I think, which is the highest one. It gives you access to universities. Right? And then the second to that, you have what is called diploma. It allows you, for certain universities that offer diploma, you can get admission there and do a diploma. You cannot enroll for a bachelor's degree with a diploma pass. So you can do it at some universities, but mostly on universities of technology. You mentioned post-standard and what back in our time. It used to be called
technical.
Yes. So a diploma would get you to a technical or University of Technology, right? And then below that, there is a higher certificate, which is the lowest NQF level. After Matric. It means that you qualify to go and pursue any qualification in a TVET college or in a TVET college. Where you get certificates and the like. With that, you cannot, no matter how much of a priority you are, no matter how much of someone who does the impossible, and so actually not with that.
So that level,
Mara currently this classification minga unpack muni bala Tsonga. I think if I simplify na leswi vana va fanele ku swi endla. Loko u kume a bachelor's pass or bachelor's admission, ungaya uya ka khale before ita ka timhaka ta online. Loko ku ri khale ita ku ungaya folela a university. loko kume admission ya diploma or a diploma's pass out of fund ya fola ka the technical
yes.
loko kume lesha certificate out of fund ya fola kun'wanyana ne le ka bo TVET. So I think mako se kuna online system minga ku yini aka vana lava nga pasisa isweso because ni vula this issue mako ku ve na incident khale a University of Johannesburg.
Yes.
Ku ve na stampede aka ku introduce maka ya online registration na swin'wana ku hetelela ku lova n'wana if I'm not mistaken, which was not necessary because registration application a ku ri online. So minga ku yini aka vana lava va nga pasa hi ti category ta bachelor's admission, diploma na higher certificate in the context ya leswi the university za ku swona.
Okay.
Na ku pfuna vatswari because you might find ku ri aka dzingi kuna n'wana la nga kombela 4,000 aku ya application and the application
ya waiting list.
Yeah.
And that's bad, eh?
Yeah.
And kuna vatswari okay kuna vatswari lava vanga ku hlanganeni na sweswo tani ne. So I think xivutiso lexi nga xivutiso is a very important one ne. Number one because many of the universities no longer do walk-ins.
Yes.
Ne? We are in a digital era where everything is run online. Literally, the results came out yesterday.
Yes.
Every student should be sitting at home. Ne?
Yeah.
Especially those of us from there, Limpopo.
Yeah.
Ne?
KwaZulu
Natal or Eastern Cape.
Yeah.
It is the students need to be sitting at home right now. Ne? Doing whatever the parents need to do to prepare them.
Yeah.
They cannot go the next day on Monday and say no. Yes.
Yeah.
We are starting. We're going to university because I got admitted or my results are not okay. I need to go to a waiting list. Or those things they are administered digital.
Yes.
Right. So that means that all the parents who are listening to us now, if there's a child of their own who is insisting that they need to go to a university next week, they really need to start questioning that. They need to start doing some research. Yes, they must take that as a signal.
Yeah.
So just to disturb you, we've got an online participant there. In Samulo, Hans Chauke. Is saying thank you for your beautiful content. He's got a question. Which subject do you think are going to be useful for the future? That's the first question. I think let's tackle it as it comes.
Or maybe
first question.
Yeah.
So let's go on to that question and then we'll check on the next one.
Okay.
What do you think is useful in the future? I've had a lot of guys asking these questions. Even Elon Musk has been asked this question, and he's got his own answers. From your side, the subject. But at the end of the day, someone must use their own judgment. You know. So
on this one, I think it's a very broad question. And I think even those who are asking the question, they would appreciate that whatever answer we give is a guide. It's not a rule.
It's not cast in stone.
It's not cast in stone. But when you are choosing what career you want to pursue in life, you need to understand, study how the world is changing. Study how the world is changing, how the economics of the world is changing, so that you can be able to identify, if I go and pursue a training so what am I going to do with my life? Is there a role for that type of skill to be used in a way that I will be compensated for it?
And looking at this, we can look at the current state. It has happened before and it's happening again. We once had a cluster in a certain it's the industry or what. A lot of guys were going into studies. We're talking about it earlier today.
Education.
They went into a certain training to study for a certain a career, and then got clustered because at that moment, ababona kurna opportunity. But they were not forecasting in the next 2-3 years something's going to change.
Yeah.
Same thing is happening right now with another one that's happening. We know the highest one that everyone is enrolling on, and it's the biggest one.
So the key question, Gwalao, that we need to answer is, yes, we see where the demand is for now, but going forward into the future, how are the dynamics changing? So this is where we need to shift the mindset and the lens and use what we call a forward-looking perspective. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
But we see how things are going now, but how is the society evolving? How are things changing in a way that we are able to understand or project what's going to be in demand? For example, right now in South Africa, we have 3 major problems, right?
Yes.
It's unemployment, it's inequality, poverty, and inequality. Right?
Let's make it 4, load shedding.
Okay, plus load shedding, right? And all of those, you can tie them back to the origin, where we are now, what has been done. So the key part that I wanted to explain with the subject choices is that it's very important that as a student now, while we're in Matric, study the workplace patterns. We're living in an information age now, in a digital age where virtually all the information is out there online. You just need to choose what kind of content you want to consume. Right?
Passion.
So, then your passion as well. So with these things, the key part of it that one needs to consider when choosing a subject is this kind of career that I want to look at, I want to study or pursue in life. What are the requirements to get them? I always give this example a lot. Maybe an example will make a lot more sense, right? I was a student who didn't struggle to get good results when I studied, right? Plus, I worked very hard, right? So my grades were okay throughout my school.
You can see by the credentials.
So with that, so my grades were okay, right? Because I was in a rural school. All I could be told about was, you understand biology, you can dissect a human being walking. Like I could read that book and I'll understand it that much and speak as if I'm a doctor. That's how passionate I was with this kind of thing. I would do the same thing with a maths textbook or with physical science textbook, right? Although when you get to the chemistry part, you are doing an experiment of colors, you're using a black and white textbook. But somehow I could find my way to understand those things, right? So my grades were fine. But then, I didn't like mathematics that much because I'm sure you can tell that I'm more comfortable in a space where I can talk.
Because
right?
How do you do economics while you run the mathematics?
Good.
Which
is a good question. Which is a good point. We'll get to that. So the whole point of this context is to show that for me at that time, because all I was told that I need to be a doctor, but what I wanted was to be in a job that will pay me a lot of money. So
and that's everyone's child.
That was my childhood dream.
Everyone's
thought. So I was told that when you go and do medicine, because you are very good in maths, physics, biology, and all of that stuff,
you are rich.
Maths was not my best. I had to work harder. So. And then I studied the requirements to get into a medicine program.
6 months in choir.
My own. So that was me. So I knew that I could easily get a distinction in physics, in life sciences, everything else, in English, all the debating and everything. Those things I did. Unprepared speeches and all of that stuff.
I'd like to some more about this gentleman.
About it's episode 19.
There's episode 19. He spoke more about himself. Then you learn a lot. So look, check out episode 19, guys.
Before we continue,
it's fine.
Let's go to Subulene. Look, my ingisela album ya Dr. Thomas Chauke. Wishimbazi mani ngwana mani maya nukumi wa kahle. At that particular point, nganuna rumane le matini ayaka or ayatsowana tunye angabileli. But kube na evolution. So swan loko nganuna kangwasati umeka sense loko urina mali. So in the context level vulavula hi yona ku ri swilo swi le ku cinceni.
Yes.
Khale loko kota ku tsala a hatla ku kuma ntirho. Loko kota ku photosela was it a typewriter?
Yeah.
A hatla ku kuma ntirho.
Yeah.
Se swi ya ka ti-laptop.
You were very educated.
Yeah. Swi ya ka computer yo xingiwa and all those things. Mara se swilo swi cincile. A ni la ku hlamula leyo sungula ya subject le ka mi hlamula ku ri a ku nge vi na answer ya straight.
Yeah.
Mara lexi mi nga n'wi byela xona i ku ri misava yi le ku cinceni ku laveka skills so karhi in a robotic world, artificial intelligence and all those things.
Na ku focus as an individual, you just look at what's happening at the moment, and kuna leza so if I fakela the company to car, it is not being done these days. Take a boy child to a workplace. After I endla inhlungu fanze someone is strong. Mara wena individually, do you attempt?
Do you reach out? All of those. So I think my one especially, I like how you touched on that at this point, and then I'm sure some of our viewers will be like, records, Mr. Records, why are you not listing the subjects you have done? Because I want to do the same thing that you've done. But that is not the answer, because for what I am doing now, all those subjects I have done in high school. Because when I got to university, I learned economics for the first time.
Kamba ku ri na tivo ririmi khale.
Yes.
Or ku ri na biblical studies or what?
Studies na tivo ririmi. Na woodwork.
That's why ku nga ri na timhaka ta madzolonga khale na hi dyondzisiwa hi Bibele, hi dyondzisiwa hi Yesu Kreste na Babylon.
And aku hi minkarhi ya hina i nkarhi wa aba shifta from ku drawisiwa njia na machela. You're starting to learn about human physiology. Eka life science. My God. So the point, the reason why we are going around without giving listing or go and do these things, because I don't want to be held responsible for a student who could do well as an artist to go and sit in a maths class and fail for 5 years.
Kuna some surgery nga perform the robots ne. So even na your medical space na yona is under siege because of the evolution
of all of these things. So I want us to get to the details of that, but it's important to paint that picture that when people see very soon, because I've done some robotic studies, artificial intelligence and machine learning, right? Which is still part of the learning I'm doing. Why are we doing that? Is that thing of taking a forward-looking view on what is happening. So now we're painting a blank canvas of what the students need to look out for when they need to make a choice on the subjects, right? So we said number one, look at how the world is evolving. We've had what is called the first industrial revolution, second, third, we're in the fourth industrial revolution. Right? So which is just a way of things changing, the way things are moving around in the world, right? And these changes, they change the way we live, they change the jobs. There are jobs that exist now. 10 years ago, they never existed.
Exactly.
For example, right now, I'll give it an example closer to home where we are. There's so many podcasts that are out there today. 5 years ago, the whole idea that this thing can be a career for someone wasn't there. That someone would just be going around setting up a podcast and that becomes
and
such a big
million and all those things.
And then, like, take for example what McG is doing. Those things didn't exist.
Shangan Gang.
Radios. You see, you have Shangan Gang, the special one of its kind. You see, it's even bringing up, like, the special episodes.
Current affairs.
Actually,
we didn't have this.
You know what Benny Maingani said? So, MD Shirenda, Makuvele, Katisa, they had to rely on your traditional radio.
Yes.
Kologorsimunga Tuangra Katisa Kamganolone, Akapala, radio turned over and then. Astika Kurukumakuan, because Kumamale Shaba cassette. Astika Kal.
Na radio,
So, Benny Maingani says, Wanabala Siswan Sakuri. Akat artist in kwatu ngofuta Xitsonga ambirisimira wena ringa tlanganga mngalonene I think I respond ka this thing akuri loko unga yitwangela aswibo whatsoever like kuna social media, you can promote your music aka social media unga ka the podcast, so sukomba kuri
you can have your own YouTube channel.
Loko aka xavisiwa na ti CD masiku lama aba xavisi na USB bo upload music wa vona online na swin'wana so sukomba evolution leyiwani yi hinkwako a yi le ka timhaka ta tidyondzo ntsene nele ka music va fikeriweni.
Yeah. So which is where we are right now. So now that we have painted that whole canvas, that people must not say, this is a one-size-fits-all approach. Now I can say to you, right now, on my day-to-day, I'm an economist, I'm an investment banker. If you want to go through that route, and what are the subjects you must pursue? For example, and I can tell you for sure, maths is one of those.
Yes.
I didn't love maths then, I don't love it now, but I still have to do it. But because I knew that I wanted to get admission into that program, I had to sit in that class. Although it was extra work, it means that I had to put in all of that stuff. So, there is accounting you need to study, there's economics, if you want, for example, to be in this space. And then you can ask, okay, Marawana, you said you were doing life sciences and physics. Those things you can do when you are in that mainstream science stream in high school. That opens up a world of opportunities to access. So if you are, if you are prepared to work hard, and you know that you are gifted, and when you work hard, you can get the good results. I would strongly encourage each and every student to enroll for that class. But when you know that you have a lot of challenges, and perhaps maybe you are not as strong, and maybe you find passion in these other things, you can enroll for those, but work hard to ensure that your results are very good. They're able to give you access to not only to a bachelor's pass for university, but it's able to unlock funding opportunities for you. When you do that, I think you would have done justice to yourself.
Because Ford anile ku seketeleni as a xikombiso. Khale movha ka Ford loko suka ka bay 1 awu pushwa hi munhu.
Yeah.
N'wana ta na engine mavoko, n'wana ta na gravel, n'wana ta spray mara sweswiwani movha wa ka Ford u kota ku suka ka bay 1 to the last bay ku ri ti robotics wo pushwa hi michini.
You just press a
no one is involved.
So xikulukumba ku dyondzela ku operate michini.
Yes.
Hayi ku wena u ta fika u ta vekela fender. So
we can safely say that the computer science is one of the biggest that they can look at. Based on question and here's a second question.
So, maybe on that question before we move on from it.
Yes.
Just touching on computer science, that's a big thing that is shaping the industry going forward, right? I mentioned digital revolution. That changes the way we do things. And technology itself, in the way it's evolving, it's not a threat to humanity.
Yes.
Especially to those who are embracing it, because technology will never exist without people operating.
You'll have a risk
maintenance on it to make sure that it works and to even program it. So for someone who's sitting down or Mr. Kotza, you need to look at the trends. What are those? That's one of the examples. With the move towards digital revolution, right? Understand how computers work, right? And if you think that you want to maybe go into computer science or IT, right now, if you're in grade 10 or grade 11, make sure you find yourself in a maths class. Even if you're not doing physical science and life science, but make sure that whatever combination you have pure maths in there, because that will unlock the doors for you.
And we should also vest it in our university.
Yes, we should also vest it in our local institution, guys. We've got teachers. These days, about involved got extracurricular activities.
Yes.
Right. About involved into helping kids out there. So we've got your foundation, MR Foundation. We've got Shangan Gang. I think it's vested in us also to take this information back there. You know, each and every one of us. Village and then
university, prospectus.
Yes. Bring it there.
Sending the lift down.
You are sending the lift down, doing it physically, and then being involved. Because at the end of the day, the university, if one wants to go to a university, you'll have to take a bus, you take whatever, it's a problem.
Evolution. MR Foundation, la muma kona, tatan records, famani me sponsor Wi-Fi xikolweni. more especially high school
as a feature
ba kota ku ri ba apply online Shangan gang na yena as an initiative ta kota ku ba yisa wifi kun'wanyana ta vulavula hi swona
in our respective areas.
Bana ba kota ku because ane ka ra ba ti physical forms kun'wana ta kumbe ti fill you apply online.
Yes.
Mara aka munhu n'wana n'wana la nga humelela la nga tshama university nga ku endla tano la huma ko.
Yeah.
Xavela vana data ba kota ku apply online because ku vutisiwe question ku tlhelela ndzhaku before hi vutisa question hi nhlamulo. What now? I have passed matric, I have access, it's online, you don't have to walk in. Unga yo roba vatswari ku kulaveka 3,000 ya waiting list ku hava sweswo.
Vatswari va swi twa musi.
Loko n'wana u tata nyimba la Joni lawa. Ano tsotso ndo byela mhani ku loko me bachelor's admission kulaveka 3,500 veri ntaka waiting list afika ka boyfriend loko sa fana ya xikolweni se tikile n'wana nyimbili before ku hela semester se nyimba ya humelela la ya.
Nyimba suruketele.
Nyimba hayi.
Iri shidzi.
Yeah, no. Oh query.
Rito ra Xitsonga xa nhlawulekiso wo sungula
ri fana na vito rin'wana ntoka na ri vulavula kumbe
ku na xivutiso
ya
mata kuna swin'wanyana ne ni nga hlangana na swona no tsolo la ku vutisa question yin'wanyana ka ti public school na swi twisa ku khale a hakela vo school fees and then ku va na nkarhi lowu school fees xi nga dlayiwa.
Yes.
Ka public school xikolo xi va xi ri free.
Yeah.
And then sweswi ku va ku ya vumbunuka leswiya swo se ku fanele ku hakerisa hi leswi a vulavula swo bot prema tsundzuka ku fanele ku hakerisaniwa timali to karhi ta ma-security ta leti lwisanaka ngo na yona hi leyi ya ti-Saturday school.
Yes.
Kasi ti-Saturday school mathicara a ma hakeriwi na because that's one thing loko mi za mi hakerisa vanhu vo ma 950 per student mi ku ya mathicara lama dyondzisaku Saturday school.
So yale ya tikanyana khosa ne but I think swi vuya ngopfu ka infrastructure ya hina la tikweni ne na budget leyi nga na yona. That has become a topical thing leyi nga banga tihuwa ka ti-communities to tala, especially le ka ti-community letiya ku nga na swikolo leswango is quintile 1, 2 and 3 which are no fee paying schools. Ne? I mhaka ku ri those schools that are not paying fees simply because the communities they cannot afford. These are the people who generally live below the poverty line.
Yes.
Many of them are relying on social grants. So to even ask for that much is a lot. You are already milking a cow that is dry.
Yes.
Ne? But at the same time, because the resource allocation is not efficient, so you don't have enough resources to support teaching and learning. And because they are in the remote villages somewhere where there's no media attention to it, right? Those students, those schools are neglected even by our own political leadership. Let's call a spade, not a garden tool. Yes. This is the problem we have as a society, right? That the resources are not sufficient. Maybe sometimes where they are made available, they are misused. That's also another elephant we need to address in the room. Yeah. But now, those kind of things where there are additional arrangements to make payments, they come as a result of parents, teachers, SGB partnerships, where they can agree that the budget for the school is X amount. We need to do so much, but this budget can only cover up to here. As the parents, this means that we can only teach the kids up to this point. We will not be able to afford the level of additional teachings that our kids need. The budget is not enough. And then now the law allows for them to arrive at that particular type of arrangement just to enhance the quality of services afforded to the school, right? But now the problem is that when those kind of conversations usually and those discussions, it's me and you, Mr. Kosa, who have a stable income, who tend to influence those decisions in those schools. But the majority of the parents that are there who are not as well off as we are. They feel left out because the amounts that we even agree to are too far out of their budget. And that's where we end up having an issue. So as a principle, to have parents and teachers coordinating in that way, it's good for the school. So that, because that's a responsible way of ensuring that whatever government is doing, little as it is, we are building on it to do what? To help create a better future for our kids.
Concept of vukuzenzele.
Yes, so which is where you were saying that, and I think as MR Foundation we take up that call, that we here, those of us who have made it to a certain point in life, we have a role to play.
Yeah.
Let's not leave this to our parents who are waiting for that pensioners grant or that social grant to do this. Let's go out to those communities. Let's join hands together. Sit down, work with these students, right? We know a lot of us would have students at varsity that were mentoring. You know, we can give them that task and say, look, when you go home, please go spend a week with this class of students. Help them to address some questions in maths. You know, talk to them about this and that, right? You are helping them to send the leave down. You are, while in a mentoring relationship, you are helping them to get ahead in that way. Those are some of the ways we can even advance this. We can advance this initiative without even spending a lot of money.
Accessible.
That's a month, because not a month.
Oh, spokushela kula bulala.
You try it.
Now we are.
But process me tele commit magato. Kaya we don't have extracurricular activities.
Yes.
Banava haika culture. Like there's literally nothing that they do. And then there's a budget that's being set for that school. So I'm trying to understand, in the back of my mind, I'm trying to understand what budget are they being given, because there's literally nothing that's happening. What are they spending money on? Because the school is still the same. We still, when we go back, Shangan akuna munhu la byariwaka ata mara kuna budget leyi na byeriwaka yona ku the budget is small. And loko hi valala hi budget ani hi swi kuma budget kuna mathicara lama huma kwala budget mara nge vuli ku budget leya I ya xikolo per se, because mama leyi va kuma kha va hakeriwa mani hi Department of Education. Se hi valala hi budget leyi pfunaka xikolo sweswi. Xikolo xa ground xa hava any extracurricular activities. N'wana u ya ku dyondzeni ka elo a ya jika tshama kaya or a jika mtlomboteni.
And after that
tisana ntsikelelo ka vana ku
that's my confusion. When you talk to me about the budget and I don't even see anything that's happening at the school, what are you talking about? Because there's nothing that I'm actually, you're still telling me to pay a security guard, but there's a budget. You're still telling me to pay for extra classes
on
but there's nothing that's happening. So basically, what is it that's happening?
Yeah.
That's a difficult question.
Yeah.
And it's a big elephant in the room.
You know activism.
Yeah, absolutely. I think to really address that one, also when we do that, we need to have facts on the table, right? Because I think that type of case, it differs from school to school,
village to village.
Yeah, village to village, right? Township to township. There are schools where legitimately they are trying so hard to do these things, but the resources are just not enough. And there are instances where people or even the parents are topping up the money, but you don't see where the money is going. And I think a platform like Shangan Gang needs to go and stage up a conversation there and ask the questions, because as parents, as responsible citizens in a society, we have an obligation to address, to call out the wrongs that are there and do something about it. And the starting point would be in the capacity of a parent and a responsible citizen in the community. We go and inquire at the school. How is the budget being spent? What is happening? Once we have looked at the numbers and we've looked at the expenses and what is being done, then we can answer that question in context. And then, where obviously there are malpractices, we address those. Obviously. And then two, where there is a legitimate gap, we not only must not make noise about what is being done about the money, we need to now come back There's a lot of things that we have learned from the suburbs where we live that we can take back in those communities. And then in introducing those extracurricular activities that the young people can engage themselves in to avoid lots of social ills that are out there. So this is both a very challenging question, but it's also a call to action for all of us.
Exactly.
That we need to
nga ku loko ngona khome xikhafuthini xa matandza na matomani ya xikolweni swi helela kwalano loko va na meeting wa SGB a hi attendeni kota ku kuma ku ti-finance ti famba njhani xikolo xi laveka yini mara hi adresse mhaka ya access sweswiwani Mr. Cots hi loyi ntsako u huma ka Matiyani a mutini lowu nga sweleka pasile swinyeletano or nga pasangi mi nga tekiwa swinyeletani because wa swinyeletani tikhampani ta n'wi tsutsumela ntsako hi loyi u pasile huma ka Matiyani uma a Jim Jones ne ka Mohonisi ne le ka Xikukwana ku hava mali ka vona loko ya xikolweni hi ri yina ka n'wana loyiwani yi kona mali ya mfumo yi nga ta yisa n'wana xikolweni yi kona mali ya tikhampani yi nga ta yisa n'wana xikolweni ku na ti-concept leti tirhisiwaka ta ku tala ti confuse ku vatswari na vadyondzi ku na timhaka ta ku you are coming from the poor and the working class background ku na mhaka ya ku you are a missing middle. Which is sometimes called or termed a moving bus because the threshold keeps on changing. It's linked to the CPI and all those issues. Ninga ku yini aka vana valava whether u pase swinyeletani u pasili mara loko ya xikolweni ti kona ti-opportunities ta ku u nga kuma mpfuneto or mpfuno wo karhi ku ya xikolweni na ene nakona hi nga rivali ku linka na timhaka ta vatswari because n'wana nga kuma mpfuneto wo karhi wa swa timali ivi a lava 10,000 n'hweti na n'hweti aka vatswari ya ti-textbook
I le pfuneto straight
so yale ya pfuneto wu kona there is help out there one but mfuneto lo is subject to certain terms and conditions so I think the starting point is there. Let's just say for everyone the help is there. All you need is to make sure that you got results that will give you admission at the university because you need help to fund your studies, not to sit at home. So you need to have secure admission first. And once you have secured that admission, you can present that to the pool of funders. Then they can engage with the institution and make payments on your behalf. All you do, you go there, you show up and you study and you pass. So that is available to everyone. And then in that blank universe, there are government institutions that are mandated to administer that funding. There are private companies that have committed to helping advance the course of education through funding, through bursaries and scholarships. And there are other private foundations and NGOs, of which MR Foundation is one of them. Ford Foundation is one of them.
Foundations. Sorry to get into your conversation. So, sponsoriwa hi Shangan Gang, na MR Foundation is supportiwa hi Ford Foundation na Batu Media. So kala wangele kuboneni kombela mi kota ku share ti-link ka vanhu lava lava ku pfuniwa information leyi because le vulavuleni ka information yin'wanyana un'wana u le ku tsandzekeni ka ku yi kuma mu shareli ka Facebook mu shareli ka YouTube lava kota ku nghena just share it. We are used to sharing things on our WhatsApp social medias, so share these things so that we can help as many as we can. Then later on someone will be helped. One is 1-2 men on this one. Even if you can help one student, it will be enough for us. Continue.
It goes a long way. It goes a long way. So there are NGOs and private foundations that can offer a hybrid of help. Some can give you funding. Some can link you up with a pool of funding partners. Which is for us now as MR Foundation, we stood in that space, right? From a network of private funding partners. Where the student has decent results, we can connect them with the people that are making resources available to help you. But first, secure the admission, right? And this talks to the point that we made earlier. So in terms of, we have, from a government perspective, we have your NSFAS, National Student Financial Aid Scheme, right? Which used to be a loan scheme.
I would say so in NSFAS.
Yeah.
It's colored one.
So and for people who are matric today or university today, they are fortunate because back in our time, when you get NSFAS, you only if you pass, you are getting 40% converted to a bursary, and then 60% you had to carry over as a loan that you had to pay back, which meant that by the time you finish, you are finishing from a negative financially because your balance sheet is minus. You're probably, depending on what institution you have gone to. I know people that have gone to a university that was paying 125,000
your
per year,
your UCT,
like your UCT,
Stellenbosch,
right? So it means that if you have been at UCT for 3 or 4 years and you're paying, it was costing you 100,000. So it means that you're starting off with a burden of close to 400,000. So why am I saying this? The students of today, they are better off because once you are able to get financing from NSFAS, that is a bursary, it's a scholarship. You don't have to pay it back. All you got to do is to work hard and pass. That's it. And then once your results are good, you can also contact other private institutions. There's many of them, and CITAS. I think we can share the links.
That information is vested in each one of us. Loko utaking elevator, and then achieved whatever. Send it down. The information me sakaya one bata funeka.
So ingabuka machudeni.
Yes.
Kuna mfuno wakusuka ka fumu NSFAS yi kambiri. Kuna ngwina mi hanya ku imali ya ti grants.
Yes.
Ya SASSA automatically loko apply wa qualifier. Kuna ngwina hembitana ku ti missing bars or the missing middles. Bayikuma in the form of loan. Kuna ngwina mngata kuma ti bursary ka ti CITAS. So funding ikona ungatshami kaya ukuuma amutini wa woko ngari kahle akuna bala tiraku kuna foundation le MR Foundation na kupfunetiwa Shangan gang na Ford Foundation. So timhaka ta timali ti sorted mara a heta ku aka vana lava nga ku yeni aka university a hi tshikeni ku xanisa vatswari hi ku munhu wa kuma NSFAS leyi hakela ku res yi hakela tibuku yi nyika na laptop na data ivi se munhu a ya byala mutswari ku laveka mali
yo fola la
mali yo fola a hi tshikeni sweswo so na vatswari
laveka mali ya lecture room 205
exactly so a hi veni honest as machudeni because swin'wana hi ti pfalela na mukateko u ta heta degree ya wena u nga tirhi kasi xikwembu xi ku pfalela tindlela hi mhaka ya ku a ri ku rhobeni ka vatswari
kuna vanhu vanharhu lava a hi ngete hi nga khomita ka vona ku ri ta vulavula na vona before hi vulavula na vona Mr. Pre ta nyiketa Mr. Pre va fini va hetisa swin'wana na swin'wana leswi va lava ku swi hetisa mara hina Mr. Mandla Ntokwani who's CASA is currently in the UAE and then we go
Dubai.
To he's in Dubai.
Yeah, you wouldn't kahle ku va swi twa ku ile
Dubai. Eta va fonela ina advocate Edwin Maluleke from NKZ Artemis. Eta va fonela and then ina Mr. Isman Gomo. So these are the three
Mr. Isman musin mabonini kun'wana kwala kusuhi.
So va endli ku ri va fika.
Ni mabonini kwala kusuhi.
Call va la so. Va phone call va la ku fika kunene.
Se antavanyizela ungari khale. Kahle a sungule ni vona.
Isungula yibona. Ai ku swi nga onhaki ngopfu ingena ka lapho. I heta then yi ta vela isungula ku endla ti phone call because na lava hi fanele va prepare la ngele a Dubai. I think maybe try and let him know then it ava phone.
Yeah, no, I've just spoken to him now, so he's on standby. Okay. So I think there's one part of his question that we need to do justice to before we bring in our guests. On the what now, right? So we mentioned that in summary for those who are just taking the notes, when you have received your results, sit at home. The universities will be sending you emails to tell you what is happening, whether you've been accepted in your first choice, second choice, or third choice. And if you have been admitted, that letter it will stipulate to you the academic program. It will tell you when orientation week is starting, when a residence or accommodation is opening, so that you only leave home a day or two before that. And then you can also try to make connection with the people who are in the university that particular university or that area, if you don't know where that place is and how to arrive, just Facebook, LinkedIn, reach out to those people, ask them.
But scammers are online.
Yes.
So
but look at people that you know.
Yeah.
Look at people you know from that same community, because there's a lot of scammers out there who are right now on the corridors of the universities, are waiting for people who are desperate like you, who don't know what's going on. They are going to milk you dry. So you stay at home now, because closer to that time when the universities are opening, there is enough information that the university has already provided to you in terms of how to access the university and everything. So you're going to be sorted. This will also help Nabatsware, because they don't get scammed by even their own kids who know that they are not accepted, but because all their friends have been accepted to university, they have to go and figure out to find a room somewhere.
Mr. Cox, sorry kumngenelela na kum address mhaka leyiwani yi linked na sweswo.
Yes.
Kuna the bogus colleges, kuna the bogus universities. Minga ku yini aka vanhu lava nga pasa sweswiwani. Kuna ku munhu aba disparate, aba anga acceptwanga UCT, VETS, UJ and whatsoever. Ivi ku va na munhu wo karhi anga ta ku mina nta ku yisa ka university, mara kuna ti college leti nga registerwangiki kuna swona. Minga ku yini ka vana na vatswari.
So let me talk to the students.
Yeah.
These are even the educated ones.
Angala ku tshama kaya n'wana because anga acceptwanga VETS.
So number one, we unyika murwatini le.
Yeah.
Loko unga applyyangi, unga tsutsumi and jump loko kuma email ya ku you got accepted, even if that email says you ma IUJ or UCT.
Yeah.
UCT will never send you an acceptance when you never apply. So that is that is a fact check number one.
You never wanna apply mara ukuma feedback.
You never wanna apply. So you must know something is wrong. Yeah, for that email, yes, because you will see when you scrutinize those emails. But they will use the email address of the same institution, but it will be in italics.
Yeah.
So
it's not with a spoofer.
Yes, spoofing and
phishing. Italic.
So this is the one we were giving to those ones. So if you don't understand what phishing is, you are a student, go and Google it. Right. Number two, any institution that you have applied for, right now, write down this. I think if we can put up all this information for them. Go to the website of South African Qualifications Authority. I think it's SAQA.org.za. But if you just type that on Google, it will take you to that website. Every academic institution in South Africa that is authorized to offer a certain academic
college ateka blog ya strata hinkwasho mo nga n'wi
subject for another day.
Yes. So this one all the students need to do, because obviously the main universities, they are accredited. This is an issue that you have primarily with colleges
and private institutions.
Because you have a private institution or college that is authorized, that is accredited to offer HR training and home economics, but they want to offer you accounting. They don't have accreditation for it.
So we're calling our guy in at 1 o'clock. We've got 3 minutes.
Yes. So we have that issue. So you must look out for those things. So don't leave, and don't even put pressure on the parents to send you now to go to Durban and say there's a waiting list. No, you sit at home. If they've placed you on a waiting list, they would have sent you an email, and there's a cut-off time for that waiting list for them to give you feedback.
Always a waiting list. Akamachudeni ya hina. Loko khale hina a hi faka ka half moja hi medi. Va ku faka ka half moja u le ka waiting list a wu se randiwa va ku cheka va ku scanna. So aka vatswari loko n'wana ku le ka waiting list angazi amshanisa ku he ku 999 u ta hlamliwa or anga hlamliwa munhu yaloye va n'wi kambela va la ku cheka ku lava nga pasa ku tlula yena va ta va teka or va ta kota ku va dyondza xikolweni xexo na. So vukungundwani a hi swi tshikeni vanhu va ka hina waiting list a swi vuli ku se u acceptiwile
na xin'wana loko vatswari va nga swi twisisi swi kahle ku va ya swikolweni va vutisa a xikolweni
a ti high school ta vana va lava
ku ri teacher ro karhi maybe ri nga va pfuna principal yo karhi nga va pfuneta cause mi nga ku mi ya vutisa Mashava laha kasi Mashava yi plane khale na
la ku tisa n'wana ve thembisa muneng
kasi yi plane khale ku ri hayi ta fika ma byela leswi ta vutisa so swi kahle ku va ya xikolweni va fika va vutisa ku ri na information ya so hi koma mi nyika
and registration Mashava yi famba hi ti faculties or ti colleges if I'm not mistaken va ta rhanga va senda ti-email va ku ta faculty accounting or economic and management science ku ta ya dentistry or ya health or yini so a hi swi tekeli enhlokweni hi nga tsutsumeli ti-university hi ngeza hi byeriwa ku ri wa u registera online kahle kahle
so in a minute yin'we ta phone la Dubai
so the third important point
ya mtsakisa maka Dubai
so the third important point the students when you are accepted at university please make sure you attend orientation week if you miss that you might just miss everything the whole year
so ta ka lecture whole year wrong
o ta ka lecture whole year wrong
campus wrong
of ka go class a se sungula o ba na problem so with that you must attend all of those things, those programs, and that information you will get from the university, from the emails that they are sending you. So you can chill at home, relax now, enjoy, and no one should be leaving home at this point in time. So with all of those things, I know we have a minute, but I think there's a very important point we need to make here. And in this one, we've addressed those who have gotten admission. What about those who didn't get admission, but their results are good? Or they did not apply at all? So there is what is called, when the minister was talking about the results a day or two back, she mentioned something about a second chance program. So I think for those of you, either you didn't make it because your results, you had conditional admission, but right now, because the pass rate is too high, the average is too high, now you no longer meet the average criteria in terms of your admission point score, which happens. And as a result, the university has declined your application. Or the other reason, and maybe this can help, there are certain programs where they ask you to do additional assessments in the form of NBTs. It's called National Benchmark Test. When a lot of students have passed and have applied to that program, because the universities have to limit the number of people coming in, they have to add an additional filtering criteria. So it's not only the bachelor's pass that you got, it's the average of your marks plus the average of your NBT results. That will, and then those will be on the top across all those criteria are the ones who will be guaranteed space. So it's possible that you have passed well, you got your bachelor, but you are not going to get admission in your first choice program. So what you must do in that case is look at the other options, look at the other universities, what they offer, and must accept that it's not everyone who has to go to a university. There are TVET, legitimate TVET colleges that you can
funded
by government,
fully funded by government,
where you can get proper training, same quality. And especially if you are interested in a job that is more hands-on, less theoretical. Say if you are in a construction or engineering space, your best place, unless you want to be an academic, is not to go to a university. Go to a university of technology, because that gives you theoretical training and practical training at the same time. By the time you leave, you are well prepared.
So it's not how you start; it's how you finish. Ungasungula university ya Venda or etela university ya Cape Town.
The points you can continue it on. Okay. Can we call Dubai and
so look for in Dubai I ba preparing bata tshama na bona ku loko me ta call ya Dubai ba vela ba ngena la
ba ta tshama loko se ti phone la advocate.
Okay.
Bona bona bo hetelela ba ta vela ba flexel ka na swona ba ta swi this kumbe shani inga come after call.
No, I think we can bring in Dubai.
Loko ma fonela Dubai mi go fa khamisa mahlweni nguleriya.
Okay. So loko swi ta tanso, part of that what I'm going to say is that those ones
live.
Yeah, man. So we're talking to people from Dubai.
Hello. Evolution.
Hello.
Hey. Hello.
Ipfukile mina Mashava la live ka Shangan gang itshame na Mr Prayer la na Mr Nombelani.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think Mr. Prayer records, but I'm take us through and have a short discussion with you.
So,
Okay.
No, thanks very much, Mr. Mandla, for joining us for this live session. We're just sitting here in a live podcast on Shangan Gang platform. We're just briefly discussing post-matric career roadmap for those kids that just recently got their matric results. Some have done well, some have not done so well. There's a lot of anxiety, whether am I getting accepted at university or whatever I'm getting accepted in, is that the career I need to be pursuing and the like. So we're just sharing some nuggets and getting some experience, some thoughts from experienced people like yourself. So we just thought it would be nice to bring you live, since we're also interacting with our viewers here, asking lots of questions. So perhaps with that, if you can just start by...
I think we have a connection error.
Kolele Dubai if you drop a ndlela liya.
Team.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Ndogwan.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay.
No, bantu lava nga ku voneni ka this podcast, the special one, and la call ya ku ya a Dubai. I tirhi WhatsApp call, I tirhi call ya hina, ku na app ya special leyi tirhaka leswi ho boha mi ka mi ri yini boteam i boteam, so mi ta hi khomela loko va na timhaka ta ku va na network yi pfa yi hi tsematsema, mara loko ha ringeta ku va vuyisa laya online tatana records va ta va kha va continue hi ti-challenges teta kha va vulavula hi tona na swin'wana na n'wina mi nga kha mi faka ti-question ta n'wina ka YouTube, Facebook na le ka TikTok ta va kha hi attend.
Okay. Excellent.
It says we are no longer connected.
So loko ha ri lani, it means
So we are no longer live.
We are no longer connected. I think we are back.
Oh, we're back.
Maybe inkinga leya ku4 ya load shedding.
Yeah, the fourth problem. Yeah, so it has to be addressed. So I was addressing the issue around what happens when you have not gotten the results. Your APS is slow, and your NBT results have not helped you. What then do you do?
Yeah.
What are your options?
Yeah.
I think we would strongly suggest you sit down with someone, who can guide you in terms of what you can do with your results. But make sure that if you are able to get acceptance in another university, even if it's not university you want
call from Mr.
Okay. There's an incoming
Mr.
call from
Ndogwan.
Dubai.
Aye. Hello?
If I check a connection.
By connection.
Okay, it's ringing now.
Hello?
Yes, hi.
Yes.
Sorry, may I comment?
Sure.
Even a connection problem.
No worries.
Inkinga yana Eskom.
Okay. So
No one wins like
it's the problem you don't have in the other side of the world, man.
So yeah,
no, absolutely.
Yeah, I finally acknowledge me let Dubai. We're calling you with a certain app, and we need that the connection that's serious. So logo Eskom can get hey Shatik. So you can take it further.
So I think so. I was just giving you a brief of what we've been covering here quickly, and we just wanted to, because we have a live audience engaging with us, asking lots of questions. So we thought maybe let's just bring in some expert views from from the people that our audience can relate with. And right now, I think. You're doing a lot. We are very proud of you, and we are, and you're traveling the world, man, doing big things. And to think that somebody like me and you from Malamlele can be doing this, it's unthinkable. So we just thought, let's bring you live, and then you talk to us all the way from Dubai. So maybe you can start by introducing yourself briefly, who you are, what do you do, and why are you in Dubai?
No, perfect. Thank you very much, Mr. Koto. Thank you very much to the rest of the team for having me, Namonta. I think, maybe for for the audience, but then originally, no Makamalamlele, right? I've known Mr. Rekotso for a very long time, since we were students ourselves, pre-matric, up until Namuntala at Kumako Rekona. So a bit of background on myself. Born in Malamlele, did most of my high schooling in Pretoria, but I still call myself a Malamlele boy. Then went to University of Pretoria, qualified as a chartered accountant with PwC, and then I went into investment banking, where I spent a bit of time at Goldman Sachs and Rothschild, and then I moved over now to Dubai, where I continue in the M&A deal-making space for a company called DP World that is owned by the sovereign of the city. That's it's just a high level, background on myself. In terms of the content or, the context of what I'm speaking to you today, and appreciating that results just came out from Matric the other day. I think if I think about what I was thinking about pre-results and post-results, I always try to remind myself of what is it that I want to do with my life. Are you guys still there?
Yeah, no, we're still here with you. Yeah, you can go ahead, Mr.
Hello?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
We are still here. Rekon. I think
yeah, I think now. Okay. So
let me call him back.
So yeah, I think we are still live, and then technology and ESCOM where we are, so just bear with us. But I think we're having this conversation so that the code of 2023 can solve this problem for us 10 years down the line. We need to be dealing with a different problem, not this one of darkness. And the reason we are sitting here having
Cutting
this
off
conversation is in cutting off network. We want to make sure that we need to make sure that the future of this country is in good hands.
Yes.
And that is why we are taking our time to make sure that we are doing the best we can to send the lift down.
And one thing I've noted, me between the credentials, the Mr. the one.
Yes.
Oh.
So
you can hear it's on high level.
Yeah.
He can even note it himself. I think
Yes, I'm back.
Mita komela futhi Mr. Ndukwane seswa kwala kae.
No, that's fine. Understood song, I'm pretending I need the situation in the time.
Yeah, hey.
The fourth problem,
No. The problem you call my right topic because we're going
So now.
No, kangaroo. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Go ahead. Now we're saying that we are having this special broadcast so that 10 years down the line, our future is in good hands because the people who are listening to us today, they would have figured out the solution.
No, absolutely. So this problem will be an opportunity for innovation and, for the people who have our future in their hands to come up with a sustainable solution for us, because as much as we don't have this problem this side of the world, there's no place like home, and that's what we need to protect.
No, absolutely, sir. So I think it's good. It's good that we are actually hearing that from you, and this is somebody we know, somebody we can relate with, who is out there in the world. So with all of that, which simply just is to say is just telling us that we need to go out there and explore what's out there in the world, and out of that experience we'll get to see variety and get to do things better than what we know to be familiar. So you have given us a very, very high-level overview of what you do and the like, and I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure someone else from Malamlele or another from Chipis, where I come from, another village that is listening to us or will listen to this podcast later on. Hey, one day I want to take a call from Dubai.
Yes.
How do I get there?
I want to be a globe trotter.
Yes. How? No, manjani Malamlele, and find myself out there. So, and I'm still in Matric or I'm still in grade 10. How do I, if I have an aspiration, I don't know what you do, but if I have an aspiration to do what you're doing career-wise, what must I look for? How do I prepare myself? Any words of wisdom?
I think, I think, academics play a very critical role in sort of like the journey that I've walked. So first thing, already like a student between grade 10 and Matric, you have to be very, very focused on doing well academically, right? And the book has, I think, that is something that is in your absolute control. You have resources that you could use around you, and you start with what you have. Start with what you have and make the best out of that, all right? Yeah. So once you have your academics in check, I think the most important thing to have is imagination, because imagination will take your mind to places where your body hasn't followed it yet, right? So what I mean is, I remember when I first met, let's say, Mr. Koto back in the day, we connected on so many levels because of, your ability to imagine, and, my ability is also to imagine a life beyond where we were at that point in time.
Yeah.
Right? So once you have that goal, once you have that plugged into your mind, and you have, you want to put your best foot forward in every opportunity that you've been given, it's just a matter of time before you bridge that gap. I've always listened to some CEOs and people who've become successful globally from all over the world, and the one thing that is common is their ability to plug into a goal and find a way to get to it without compromising, what it is they set out to achieve in the beginning.
Yes.
So be very, very focused on where you want to go, whether it's in your imagination, and be very, very focused on the baby steps that you need to take to get there.
That is very, very profound.
Yeah, that's very profound from a man who is thousands of kilometers away from us, yet he is still to connect with us in that
we lost him.
Yeah, he's still able to connect with us and share some. Amen.
Aswendleke futhi mastentokwana abavulabula lava
That's fine.
In closing, because we've got two guys who we need to call. In closing.
Yeah, so in just closing, I was saying that it's very good that you mentioned how we connected so early while there was really nothing around us to justify all the impossible dreams that you and I had and the world and the realities that we're creating, but somehow we believed in it and now we're living that dream. And I think that was the genesis of the transition that we have now undertaken over the last 20 years to today. So that's a very important point that you're making. And while we're thanking you for that input, we just wanted to check also, this is something that you and I know as well, that amongst the people who got the results yesterday, there are those who didn't do so well. Yet they have that wild imagination. They still want to do this thing. So things didn't go well for them this time around. What do you say to them? How do they get back on track? How do they prepare themselves to catch up with the year that they have lost?
Yeah, look, I'd say to them, go back to the drawing board. Think long and hard about where you could have been better at delivering an outcome that you would have wanted for yourself. And nothing has changed outside of, Lembering. I remember once I had a year in university that I had to go back and like repeat some of the courses that I did. And I always think back at how important that year was, because had I given up, I wouldn't be where I was today. I am today, right?
Absolutely.
But then if I remain focused and committed on what it is that I wanted to achieve with my life, I'm exactly where, or if not even further than where I thought I would be. So it's very important not to trade places because situations have changed or circumstances have changed. You have to be committed and you have to go back, you have to improve, you have to work hard and remain committed to what it is that you set out to achieve for yourself.
No. Thank you.
Your goals are non-negotiable.
No, you can just I think
all right.
you've given us enough to use in the future. As Mr. Kotsogori, we're preparing for the next 10 years. People should make things happen. Like it's not I don't know if there's anything then we can take the next call.
No, I think it's just to thank Mr. Ntukwana for his time and taking the time to call us from Dubai. He's in a different time zone. I think it's like 2 or 3 hours ahead of us. So so just taking the time to still connect with us. He's so far many thousand kilometers away, yet is connecting with us via Botim and still sharing some words of wisdom. We appreciate him and his time, and he's a very good brother and a good friend. So I just thank him personally for this. So thanks for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Appreciate that.
Sure.
No, it's a pleasure, and also this, guys.
Anytime you come back, we are ready for you. Shangan Gang will have an episode.
No, I'll be there. Count me in.
The gang is now officially sponsored by you.
No, you can see it. You can see it.
Muranzi or Habibi, beloved, you know?
Oh, beloved Muranzi. Oh, Muranzi.
So
Habibi is not.
Yeah.
So this man can even speak Arabic right now.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes.
Ikomela mi flyer the South African flag lam nga kona. Mi isa Xitsonga mahlweni lam nga kona. When you come back, we're gonna sit and talk more. There's a lot that we can talk about.
Absolutely. No, shukran. Thank you. It's Arabic. Shukran.
Shukran.
Thank you.
Oh, shukran, Mr. Nkutu.
Yeah.
Shukran.
No, can say.
I saw can say.
Thank you.
Mina mngele ngibone ka YouTube nele ka Facebook. Shukran ayisefika ka n'wina.
Oh, na TikTok mungayisi.
Ka TikTok na wona shukran ayisefika ka wona. So just to welcome you. It's Amena Mr. Izimon Komo. He's in the industry ya media. He's doing acting and a lot more in that industry. But in the meantime, because we've promised, we've set time for the other guys that we're going to call.
Yes.
Corner in our midst. So I was thinking maybe we can advocate. Before we go into Mr. Komola. But in the meantime, Mr. Ko.
Animal says, "I'm not tabula and tabula shukran mezamin am." Come on, me quite doesn't I was like,
Sorry, hello? Advocate Molek. Me Pugil. Hi, Pugil. Me blala na mashaba lang ka Shangan Gang. Same na Mr. Prayer Koto na Mr. Izmon Komo. Imfonela from Sholing ilega yona ya bulabula Post-Matric. So ilaba ku bulabula na wena a bit. I think you are at the right time at the moment, as we've spoken. Manito.
Yeah, but it's okay. I think I can follow some of.
Okay, it's fine. So, Minga, just an introduction about yourself and maybe the company you're representing and anything about you, then we can take it from there.
All right. My name is Edwin Maluleke. I am a director and founder of Maluleke Windows Matric.
Okay.
The law firm.
I think network ile ku endleni ka the disappointment. I'm looking kahle.
Maybe let me just switch on to phone data.
Okay. Loko va lungisa
Loko a lungisa hi ta tlhe mfonela back advocate mo nyikanyana 1 minute.
me loko va lunghisa mo hi amukela vayeni nkulu
Vayeni nkulu va ta kota ku nwa na tiya.
va ta kota ku nwa tiya.
mara tiya vona nga ku yi na chukela ku tlula tiya hinkwato.
No, i right.
mara ku lava swi tiva ku ka Shangan gang a yi cheleli.
Hayi cheleni. A hi fambi na swifukwani hi hemba hi ku hi khomi chikwani nga khomi chikwani.
Mavulavula leswa swifukwani swa chavisa phela na December loko okay let's take it just one for another day for another day yeah
kombe shane
mi nga yi khoma a bit na ringeta ba fonela back.
Okay.
Ta fonela differently ma ku botinda ile ku ndleni ka swona.
oh wow
Botini busy yiri shukran
vele Dubai na bona lama fonela
ai la wana fonela ba local.
kombe loko ha ri ka busy na leyo ne I think there was a okay maybe we'll close with this one.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about layako those who I think Mr. Tukwara did speak briefly about what those who were not successful in getting admission or even getting their results need to do. Babalabule Gori, go back to the drawing board. Go back to the drawing board or Hansi. And I think what we must do when you're at the drawing board, it's a separate episode that we can do.
Sure.
I think there will be a lot of people who will be interested in that. Those who have passed,
Hello?
apply.
Advocate?
Okay, we have.
Okay, now advocate back online.
there.
Or ita kota ku tirhisa the next 5 minutes because the app leti na network na swin'wana swin'wana swi le ku yi kholeleni. So a heta ku in the meantime mi ngo vhela mi ti introducer because a hi nga ri ku twaneni kahle loko hi vulavula. Mi ngo ti introducer and then we'll take it from there.
Okay. Hi, vito ra mina is Edwin Maluleke, Noma Having Block 80. So I am a director and founder of Maluleke Trainings, which is based in Midrand. Our firm was established in 2022, and we specialize in commercial law and commercial litigation, general civil litigation, employment law, insurance law, family law, and administration of deceased estate. So he did Don's on Sukangwanati High School, and I matriculated, I think, in 2006. Yeah. And in 2007, I went to the University of Johannesburg, where I did my LLB. And years later, I graduated and served my articles at a law firm in Johannesburg. Yes. And got admitted. Firstly, I got admitted as an advocate. I can see you keep on calling me advocate.
You correct.
But then I converted into an attorney years later after my article. Yeah. Then that's when we opened our firm. I have my journey doesn't include only practice. I also went to corporate. I worked for an insurance company where I was a legal advisor, senior, and then went to one of the big banks in corporate, where I was a legal advisor in risk and compliance. Yes. Yeah, that's about it, the introduction.
Mr. Kot.
No, Kensa Mwanati for that introduction and welcome to this show. I was the introducer, like you mentioned, go matriculated in 2006, and immediately what came to mind, that year, the people who got their results yesterday, many of them were born.
Yeah.
Many of them were
2005, 2006, yes.
Yeah. So meaning the class of 2023, I got 2006.
Yeah, 2005, 2006.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like the early boomers, they're about 2006.
Oh, okay.
2005, 2004, these are the ones that are there. But I know I know people who were born in 2006 who were in that class who matriculated.
Okay.
So I just found that quite interesting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then with that just tells us, so with the, and it's amazing how when you have done that and then come almost 20 years later we're having this conversation. So we just wanted to check with you having been operating and moving through in your careers at different levels. What is it that these guys that were born when you were matriculating need to be, need to do to get to where you are at in terms of career, because they are beginning a journey that you have almost 18 years experience in? Are the words of wisdom, lessons that you have learned that you can share with them? You'll make it. And you will not make it. And over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. What I can say mostly, they already have a bold in hard work, and what I can say to them is more resilience and passion in what they do. So obviously, if you want to do law, you must have, obviously you researched about the law career path, and you must know what you want, because she law, and obviously accounting. It's not only how hard you work; you must have built-in passion in order for you to make it in this, in this industry. So you need to work hard.
Yes.
Hard work is already built in. It's a built-in characteristic in this case, because I can see that if you pass matric, I can't say anything more about working hard.
Yeah.
You must have passion and resilience and know what you want in life. There's going to be hurdles along the way, but you need to keep on pressing on and powering through. It will help you so much with your career path.
No, that's good information.
Yeah.
That's a process. So a glimpse on your career. Me bulabula a lot of me kumba magayako. You must work hard, and our previous caller also our bulabula magayako.
Yeah.
Just a glimpse in your career. Just a little bit of a view. Someone out there wants to go and register LLB in any university. Just to give them some insights. We are there's what you can take. There's cases you can take. There's cases you're saying, you know what, I can't deal with this. It's too much and all that. Just a glimpse before we were.
Yeah. Okay. What I can say, immediately you register, and if you qualify to do an LLB in one of the institutions, I would suggest that find a law firm around you and do vet work or volunteer to do something for them that is going to build a lot into your CV and experience.
Yes.
I always tell people that my candidates and a lot of people that I work with, that you do not trivialize an experience, even if you are not getting paid. The most important thing is to build up your resume. Go and do some volunteer work, read up on things, or to like local courts, and try to find out how they operate so that you can, build your CV. That makes it easier for you to be employable in the future.
Yes.
When you start looking for work. You may be obviously maybe in practice, or you can be in corporate, but I can tell you that the foundation is to start in local law firms and maybe local courts, where you can just go and browse and see how things are run, so that you can build your experience.
Yes.
Looking also at the fact that our economy is very is going downhill at some point, and the career opportunities are very scarce. I would suggest that for law students, make sure that you go and volunteer and build your resume. It really helps in your future
Yeah. All right. You can see Mr. Maleke. Ante kuntambitana Mr. Maleke because I'm an advocate.
You can. I said die.
The former
I said die.
Former advocate or
I said die. You can still.
so
kombesulava hi ku ibe yini Esquire ne
Esquire ne.
Well,
no,
I never see this already. But you can still call me. You can call me cancel.
Yeah, that would some of our
senior
Leonard friends.
cancel. Oh yeah, the Leonard
yeah.
just told us there we have senior
The
cancel
Leonard
on the
friend
line.
that side.
Yeah.
Mr. Malek, senior counsel Maluleke, I can sustain for Garwamina. I think information it's been insightful and then and I hope you are also available for students from la kala mumakona ku ri ba sendela live down ku ri valava information ba kota ku yi tisa henhla la nga kona mi kota ku va pfuna and so on mi tlhela mi va involved ka swin'wana na swin'wana.
All right. No, thank you for having me.
I can say swinene valava a ku ri senior counsel
Maluleke mulawuri wa yini KMZ
yeah swin'wana swo taniya hi rivele va ta hi fakela yona. So you can see leswinene going forward say we are switching now.
Yeah.
Suka
Dubai,
suka laya
live on studio.
Live on studio ithamena izmen Nkomo. Just to give you some insight on him, he's in your TV screens now and again. He just pops in.
Let me take a sip.
He pops in various series, local dramas and all that. But the biggest one that I can reflect on is Shaka 11.
The biggest one.
The biggest. He's been interacting or rubbing shoulders na the various stars, South African stars in the industry. He's been doing a lot. I've got questions. Matric. I say ngenelela liya. I've got questions marangeni.
Sure.
And then I know you are doing some sort of classes just to help these guys, the aspirant actors to get by.
True.
To know the techniques and stuff like that. I'm good.
Thanks for having me. Kensako amkelo. Kambe barini?
Shangan gang.
Misolo Dubai man. Shukran for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Shukran, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, shukran for having me.
Shensheng. Anis China bar Shensheng. You want to buy 250? 150? Okay, thanks for having me, guys. Petram namina Izmen, Nkomo. Ekutswalwa nomahala mabili ku apho shahuku. Kaqhaza. Ande ku ayira mabet manaro, but it's fine. So taswala le mberi ngwanyana. So nileka film and television industry. Vitana Media, however, my company says Shilaweko Media Production. I was trying to cover like the industry, but we call it it's a film and television, because film and television you cover acting or whether it's behind the scene, anything that has to do with exactly production and everything, anything that has to do with TV. Okay. You understand? So it's film and television. So I'm a casting agent.
Okay.
I'm an actor. I'm an acting coach. I'm teaching people how to act. Yeah, how to act. Because kuna bantu botala la blah okay fine. Mina I am an actor. Kumbeni la bakubaka TV. Not knowing that there is a lot of techniques that are required kuba muna aba angena kaka TV. Yeah. You don't just look at you and your name again. Prayer, and some I was taken by Sakash to which I'm not gonna mention. You understand, Koru? You have that voice, and then so Fanobaka screen. No, it doesn't work like that. Kunati stages takona. You need to start somewhere until uzoyafika laba ngataza bakubetana kuri hayi. Now you are a principal actor. You understand? So I'm a voiceover artist. Yeah, she voice nyana shwana shafa so karonganyana ko advertiser tweets. And then also yeah, ni lava kuri one day ni ba na my own film production. Because the film production, the name film production is I am calling my company Shilabeko Media Production, but currently we are not more into production, but we are more into managing actors and training them. Actually, we are more into training them and managing them. Okay. Production is a huge name, but because ofane varini leso usbalablaku no mukuru lava so endleka kumbe leso tibitana kusona so endleka, you understand? Yeah, but so far we've been doing good, I think. Maybe that's why I'm here.
And you're more than welcome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think so Tala, we will have a session with you just after this break.
Yeah.
Mara mostly ka lesumgele ka sona sesi lata mbutsa mostly ka magaya kuna bana laba ngapasa.
Sure.
Ba pasa tolo bonwanyana ba fikelerini mara ba fikelelang leswi aba swi hlekete ba ta fikelesa ka sona. Mirini sona in case n'wana u lata nghena ka industry leyi ngele ka yona. I leswi a fanela ka swi langutisa yini leswi a nga pfuneka ku sona based on your experience, based on the requirements and all that. And then we can hand it over to Mr. Prayer 5 minutes and then we take a break.
No, maybe
sure.
Just to add to his question that you can talk to. The students that have a passion or interest in your field, how do they get there and what? Can you also clarify that field itself is not just for the students who are not doing well or not passing, Yes. They are obviously academic training that one has to go through. There's that one needs to go through that. So those ones who are very good students, if they have passion for this, there's still space for them. So what's the pathway to get there?
Okay. Before Ndafakala, I had a presentation East Guatemala, and I was telling them, because most of them were confused. Okay, Mr. Isman, what subject is required for one to qualify or to join the acting industry, or whether not university? There's a lot of them. Am I allowed to mention the name of universities?
The public ones.
You understand, the public ones, not the private ones. Like I want to go to City University or TUT. You understand? I was like, okay, to those ones, you need to have at least Matric. It doesn't matter what I end in Ashkolin, as long as you have Matric. Whether you have passed a higher certificate, it's fine. It is well. You understand? Because
and you can speak the language.
You understand? Yeah. As long as when you are able to read, as long as when you are able to in acting, there is no much of theory. Most of the time, practical. You understand?
Yeah.
And let me tell you something that maybe you've been asking yourself now. Okay, fine. The reason is it might be 50-50. 50% of them might not have. 50% of them. But way back, the requirements to like what certificate do you have, which college did you went to for your thing, where did you train, you understand? Okay, we look at you, okay, Musal is born, you look handsome, you understand? Odishina, you understand?
In 2 minutes.
Well, only 2 minutes. So akuzukulabeka okay, fine, kulabeka Matric for the universities. Kasi kuna the college leta tin'wanyani na tona ku nga va kha ku laveka matric mara ka tin'wana uma ku ri a yi laveki matric so kuna hina vo easy man because the main reason why mina ni pfule ni
wait I'm almost done kuna hina vo easy man kuna hina
timekeeper.
Okay, kuna hina vo easy man Xilaveko Media Production. Let me not even go as individual. I'm coming as a company. So kuna vo Xilaveko Media Production. The whole reason or the whole point ya ku kahle kahle hi va hi introduce the acting classes. Akuri timhaka ta ku every time loko hi lava ti actors vanhu va tele vanhu approach ako each and every day. I want to be on a TV. I can act. I think I can act. I did acting at school. I'm like, that's not acting. I did acting at church. That's not acting. That's not acting. You understand? Like I said, and I was like, no, it's fine. Let me introduce the acting workshop with my previous business partner. And then we were like, okay, fine. I ended a once-off acting workshop just to teach people on how to handle the auditions. Yeah. You understand? Script, but we were not in that much acting techniques, like actors tool, or what is it that you need to do for you to keep your craft growing? You understand? Yes. And then we were like, okay, it ended the 3 months. It's only the 2 months, say ended the 2 months. With us, even if you don't have grade 1 or grade R, as long as you are able to read and listen, as long as you are able to take directions, we are going to accept you. There are people having about trainer me, even na high school or secondary school, but today they are doing very well. You understand?
I think let's hold it there. You can take the next 15 seconds and then close up.
Yes.
And then take up
in the next 15 seconds.
15 minutes.
So that's why it comes in.
So that's why we comes in, and I think this is why we needed to sit down on this.
Sure.
If you are there listening to us, or passing matric, there's still a role for you. It's not the end.
It is not.
So and we know it's not everyone who's gonna eat out of the textbook.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, but it's very important. If things are not going well for you at school, explore your talents and your strength. And here we've brought in an example, real life example of what you could possibly do. We're not saying that everyone who has failed matric must come to you for acting classes if they are not passionate about it. But we're saying that those who are there and there's a space for them in the society, here's an option. Don't kill yourself. Don't do some things that you make everybody regret. There's still a role for you to play in society. So to hear more about this, please stay tuned in. We'll be back after the break to hear a little more about it.
So in the next 10 minutes. Take a break a bit. We'll be exploring more on this. Shangan Gang, na MNR Foundation, you guys support the Ford Foundation, na Ibatu Media. Na
Slaveko.
Nabanga ilang sa ka Facebook, ka YouTube and TikTok. Just stay tuned. Itabaka we can win in 10 minutes time. Okay.
Can
we eat a bit?
ka Facebook, ikona ka TikTok, ikona futhi nele ka YouTube. So loko nota hlanganisa na yena if you want to get further information, na loko mlata sponsor and so on, mitawamka mi vulavula na yena at the platforms that episode le yitisewa ka n'wina hina Mr. Records. So tala swi vulavuriwile. Kuna information yo tala nga ikuma mara kuna xixin'wana nga xikuma mina ka vanhu hinkwavo lava nga vulavula including yourself na lava nga va fonela baka va ku at the end of the day you must work hard. You must work hard. So ku tirha hi matimba guys as a student i swilo leswi u fanele ku swi endla u nge endleri un'wanyani ku na un'wana a nga tshama hlamusela ku a nga ku namuntlha earlier on a hlamusela ku ri swi fana na ku pusha wheelbarrow yi nge fambi u nga yi pushanga swilo leswi swi fana na wheelbarrow yi nge fambi u nga yi pushanga so ku humelela swi fana na ku pusha wheelbarrow u fanele u pusha
un'wana pusha yena
n'wana n'wana pusha leyi nga ya yena a nge pusheli un'wana a ve ri a yi handleli xa munghana so Mr. Kotsa ti nyika ka n'wina
No, thank you, Mr. Mashawa. I think for this opportunity again, I think we have covered in depth a lot of information, but it's good for the benefit of our audience. Just to give a decent summary, covering important points. And then for further details, they go into the specific sections of the video for a further breakdown. So I will just quickly with that. So one, today we met here to map out, to draw up a roadmap, a career roadmap post-matric. And the most important message there that everyone listening to us today needs to take is that there is life beyond your matric certificate. Whether it's a good certificate or an embarrassing certificate, there is life, there is still hope for you, there is still a role you can play in society. And your matric certificate does not define who you are, does not define the value you represent in life, but what you bring out to the world is what determines the value that you have. So we needed to, so that point is very important to highlight. Secondly, the meaning of that matric certificate is a license to go out there and hunt. And as a student, your hunting permit is allowing you to go to different institutions of higher learning, which can be a university of technology, and a TVET college, right? And to access these different classes of higher education institutions, for a university, you require a bachelor's pass in your matric. For a university of technology, at minimum, you require a diploma. If you get a bachelor's and didn't get accepted at a university of technology can welcome you and offer you a space. And then below that, there is the TVET college, which gives you the vocational skills. And you get to do a certificate, and these programs, the advantage of that is that they are shorter than a program you enroll for at a University of Technology and a university, right? So these things, these are the options that are available to everybody. So for the students who got a bachelor's pass, it doesn't mean that you have to go to a university. And if your university has not accepted you, either because your APS is low, or you are not, or your NBT results are not okay, or your performance overall when you compare to the overall core that they're accepting, you are not at the top of the pile. It's okay. It's okay. Right there, that's a moment for you to sit down and reflect. What do I want to do? Do I still want to pursue this particular career alone? And if so, then you need to, what do you need to fix? If it's your results, then you can choose to go back and improve your results. There's a second chance program that even the minister has announced. That's very important to follow, right? For some of you, there's an option to take a gap year, right? And for some students who have passed but say they didn't meet a sub-minimum requirement to get accepted into that particular program, many universities and University of Technologies have what is called a bridging program or extended program. So you could apply the next year and get into an extended program or a bridging program if you can't get into a mainstream program, and you also don't want to go back to improve your results. So the choice is really yours there. You can figure out which one it is. But either way, it is not a loss, because at some point, all of us will get to fail. I think one of our speakers was Mr. Dukwan, was calling us from Dubai. He did speak about how he had to repeat a year at varsity. A whole year. And I can talk about that as my experience as well. if I had not, after university has handed me my first failed script, I never failed any test, any exam in my life, up until I left Matric with many distinctions. But when I got to university for the first time, I saw a fail.
Yeah.
And that was devastating. And that was not the only fail. There's a time where I had to repeat the whole year. Right? But when we're sitting here today, it's not written on my forehead.
It doesn't even
no
affect
one
you
can
now.
tell, yes. But that year has been the most defining moment for me, because it's the moment that tested my resilience, my tenacity, and has built that endurance in me. And has taught me that, hey, in life sometimes you hit a roadblock and you get knocked down.
You just have to stop until
and if you cry if you must. You must cry. Even if you want to cry silently and people don't see, do it. If that's not gonna help you.
So sometimes people are about to score like bulldog tenacity. So sometimes it's your own bulldog tenacity.
Exactly.
Logo utamakonen or go repeat the whole thing. It's your own bulldog tenacity. Allows you to clinch on something. Oh, this I want it to happen, and you do. Because from there onwards,
absolutely,
affect.
Absolutely.
Why mirna accent ama comrades mina tandanyana.
Okay. While we address that one offline. No, I just have a passion for speaking, that's all. So, but you can give me an agenda of the comrades or anything else. I'll make it more interesting for you. But on this one. Continue on the summary of today. So, there I was just giving a real life example of why we're having this, why this is important. That if you are there, you feel like you have failed, you have let a lot of people down, and people are disappointed. It's okay. It's part of life. We all get to that point. Even till this day, there are things that wearing the suit that I'm wearing, I'm still failing in those things, but those are not the things that are defining me, because I still dust myself up and keep going. And that's the same thing you need to do right there as a matriculant. And also for the parents and the relatives, please, let's not put pressure on these young ones. If they have failed and things did not go well, it's okay. Encourage them to go back to school. And don't put pressure on them. Don't compare them to your neighbors. Don't compare them to the
That's the worst a parent can do.
Because everyone is running their own journey. So allow them to go through this, support them emotionally, because the last thing we want is another case of suicide because of bad matric results. For somebody else who was never destined to sit in a corporate office like I am sitting. But what we need to emphasize with school is that our people must go to school, learn, so that they understand the language, they can engage eloquently, so that we avoid things like what we see now with our prominent artists, who are using their natural talents, but they are clueless when it comes to the fine prints, and they are busy crying all the time. That is what education should work for those people. So we must not rule them out simply because they did not get A's. So, but we need to be able to embrace them while we're emphasizing the importance of kids going back to school. That's very important. But there's also a route that they can walk in. So, and this is where, now for those ones who couldn't apply, right, or who have gotten rejected, go back to other universities, TVET, colleges, do those. You will learn a very useful skill in life that can even help you to discover what the career that you are more passionate about. Because that will give you exposure to what you learn in the classroom, and they take you to the field to practice that. That can easily help you to figure out if you want to do this or not. If you don't want to do it, then you can easily change, because in the TVET college, you you do short programs. In the University of Technology, you do short programs.
I'm thinking so nga endleka loko munhu loko xikolo swi ka swi endla ti-extracurriculars. Swi nga endleka loko ku ve xikolo swi endla ti-extracurriculars. Yeah, so munhu identify ku ri ni nga kota ku va leswi. Because I think munhu na munhu fana va na plan B.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that can help a lot, and I think it's a program that needs to be rolled out appropriately and in a structured way that can complement what is happening in an academic program.
That's
right?
fine. Producer ba jela go say silent administration.
Yes. So yes, I just wanted to wrap up the two additional points that I wanted to highlight. If you have failed, or have not applied, but your results are good, and now you would like to go to university. We did speak about funding, the different, if you go back to the earlier parts of the podcast, you'll be able to get more information on that. But most importantly, now I need to talk to the students who are not admitted anywhere because they didn't apply.
Yeah.
There is, and we need to put down this website, they need to go to what is called Central Application Clearing House. This is a website run by the Department of Education, Higher Education, where all the students who have passed would like to go to university but have not applied.
Yeah.
They get a second opportunity to put in their details and their results there. That clearinghouse will help them to match their profile. They will list the options, academic programs that they're interested in, and their results. And that clearinghouse, that will match them to the opportunities that are available in other institutions this year. So that is opening up on the 26th of January.
Okay.
So they can go to that website. It's called So it's cach.cas.ac.za.
Okay. For information, on the bottom line.
Yeah. So that's the second opportunity that they have. Because now you have the results, there's a possibility that you could end up in a university this year.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not all lost at the moment. So just hang in there, use that opportunity. And then after you have received the admission, then you can contact different funding options that we've spoken to. If you qualify, you're in a category that qualifies for NSFAS, you can do that. If your results are very good, you can contact private companies, and you can also contact private foundations that can help link you up with funding opportunities. And I think that's a very important point we needed to highlight. And most importantly, which is going to be the last point I want to make here, is that whatever happens with your results, there is still a role you have to play in society. Maybe the experience of failure that you've had right now was necessary so that one day you can stand up and tell a story about how you overcame that failure, so that somebody else will be encouraged by that. Somebody else will be inspired by that, and when they look at you and say, if prayer could do it, so can I. If you could bounce back from that setback, what I'm going through is too small. And that will avoid and eliminate lots of suicides that we see amongst young people, because they think that by killing themselves, they are solving the problem.
Yeah, they think that failure is fatal.
Yeah.
It's not.
Actually, guys, that's a very important point. You know what the book of Deuteronomy says?
Yeah.
It says that it takes 11 days from Kadesh Barnea, where they were, to their destination. It takes 11 days. Yet they took 40 years to get there. And they still had God. And they just for me and you to get through Matriciana. They're going around in circles.
Because you know what, the local one, Mr. Prayer, something just clicked here. It was you, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
I'm Zanmifeila.
Before
Before primary and whatever, secondary school. Marusem fika Ava City. That was your first time where you thought, you know what?
You
understand?
12 years
And then we fail. I say. So what I'm trying to say.
Getting research.
So you know what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say.
5%.
Let's look at 2.5.
What I'm trying to say, they think it's the biggest fail in life, and it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
Absolutely.
You can fail. Like you fail. We've been seeing people who fail in marriages, failing businesses.
Yes.
You understand? Which is that's the deadline of where you wanted to be. You understand? And then fail out. Okay. Now I got this. No, indeed, Matric. Matric is just, it's not even at the 40% of your life, of your future. You understand? It is just the beginning.
Actually, that is where that's the best time. Looking at how my transition with my life right now.
Sure.
I think that the episodes of failure that I've gone through in recent years, I would have handled them better if they happened then, because I don't have a lot of things at stake.
Yeah,
you know, I don't have a big family. I don't have kids that I'm responsible for. I don't have a wife. You see, when you when I was then when I was a student, all I was worried about is just my life alone. Yeah. Even bouncing back, there's so many options. You can do lots of things. So and for me, I feel like having failed at that time has helped me to build that backup generator to keep going when things get really tough. So that should not be the end of the road. Because they say is 9%. You know, for somebody 5%. You know, for 2.5. So let me tell you, from leaving Matric with distinctions, I enrolled for actuarial science at the University of Cape Town. So by that, you would know what are the requirements to get there. So I will not mention it, just the program alone.
Sure.
Right? And my first maths exam, I got -9%. Local at the university. Today, here I am, and I'm an investment banker.
You are big.
Here I am a PhD. The kids that are going to be doing economics right now, whether they like me or not, they're going to quote my name. The research that's there now in economics, as so far as it pertains to BRICS and Africa, you cannot talk about that without mentioning the 2 papers I've written. It has a contribution in the body of knowledge. Yet I failed.
Mr. Prayer, lokumlata twa so tala I wona ya Langtisani Shangan Gang episode 9
19
ka YouTube.
Live. After this one.
Episode 19 ya Shangan Gang. You will hear more about it. He is also a globetrotter. He's just here with us today. Ina like wire now it's in our midst. Mara eku leterwa enkare. We have to wrap it up from here. Follow, hit and like, subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on other platforms. Mr. Kotsu,
yes, sir.
Every time it's a pleasure.
Absolutely.
And you give us insights about a lot of stuff. Guys, until next time, until the next episode.
The next one is our Facebook, and then we'll make a show of before YouTube link.
So it's exclusive for Facebook.
So it's exclusive for Facebook. Then look I delete.
Yeah.
Next week.
Yeah, next week.
Until it's a Kambe.
Sure.
And so by Tiny.
And the sponsor I money. Oh, guys.
Why figure late? Why minute late? Why? You don't like me? You don't want me to.